everybody, this is Keith Gleason, host of Indie Comics Relay, creator of the Mighty Mascots, and promoter for the Plastic City Comic Con. And I'm here with another comic review. Just a reminder that Plastic City Comic Con is coming up on Saturday, July 20th. Admission is $10. We have over 150 tables ready to go to sell comics, local writers, artists, all that fun stuff. Biggest convention for the smallest price anywhere. Also, check out heroenvy.com if you're interested in checking out some of my comics. I have all of them on there. And there's also a link to Global Comics where you can read everything digitally as well. So check that out if you get a chance. All right, let's get on to this week's comic review. I am reviewing Army of Darkness Forever, #1. This is written by Tony Fleeks, art by Justin Greenwood, color by Brad Simpson, letters by Troy Peteri, I think is how you say it, edited by Joe Rybrandt. It seems to be about, the standard 24 to 28 page comic, and it is priced at $4.99. No, $3.99. I'm sorry. So yeah, before I get into any of the critiques of the thing, let me read the description of the story. After it premiered in 1992, the classic Sam Raimi film Army of Darkness quickly became the most beloved movie of the popular Evil Dead franchise. And with the launch of their Army of Darkness comics in 2005, Dynamite set a new standard for the indefatigable Ash Williams adventures in any medium. Now, after nearly 3 decades of Ash-tastic action, Dynamite is upping the ante with the ultimate AOD comic book series, Army of Darkness Forever. Picking up immediately after the events of Army of Darkness, the director's cut, Ash chainsaws his way through the techno Army of Darkness of 2093 and defends the Sacred Isles of the Esmart in 1993. What? How? Meanwhile, in the distant past, his lady love Sheila fights off a rising evil at Castle Kandar. Written and illustrated by comic heavyweights Tony Fleeks and Justin Greenwood, Army of Darkness features incredible covers by some of the medium's greatest masters of horror. That's the basic premise of the book, but it was also the hook that kind of got me to check it out. They've been putting out Army of Darkness books for a long time now, probably as long as they said, which is 20 years, I think they said. 3 decades. And most of them I did not read. Like, I started reading them when they first were coming out because I love Ash and I love the Army of Dark. I love the Evil Dead franchise. If you haven't seen the show that Starz put out, amazing. I think just about every episode was great in that. And also, I love the movies. Army of Darkness is a fun one, but I think I prefer Evil Dead 2 is my favorite. The reason I picked this up, a couple reasons. I've been Tony Fleeks is like a new creator that I just discovered in the past year or so. Local Man was the first book I read by him and Tim Seeley, and I was hooked. And then I haven't read Stray Dogs yet, which I hear is one of his best. But I did read they had a free comic book day one shot of I think it was the first issue of the first miniseries. I have read that, and I love that as well. And I didn't think I would, because when I was looking through it, it looked very cartoony, like a Disney film. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work for me. But I read it and I loved it. So I bought the first trade paperback, and I think there's a second miniseries. So I haven't read that first trade paperback, but I'm dying to. I have a stack of trades upstairs a mile long. And he just came out with a new book called Feral, which I picked up. I haven't read that yet either, but it's the same creative team, him and the same artist from Stray Dog. But Tony is a really good writer. I gotta admit, everything I've read from him since Local Man has been excellent. And when I saw that he was doing Army of Darkness, And the premise for this Army of Darkness Forever, I was like, oh, I gotta check that out. It's great idea to continue right where the movie ended, but also like addressing that the two different endings that were made for the movie. And then I was intrigued that it's all happening together at the same time. So I'm like, oh, this sounds like a great idea, a great pitch to go in with. So I picked up. I don't know. I'm assuming it's a mini series of some sort. It's probably. I mean, it's. I don't know. Issue 5 or 6 just came out, and it's still going. So maybe it's a 12 issue or a 10 issue thing. But yes, it's really good. And if you're an Army of Darkness fan, I totally recommend it. The artwork by Justin Greenwood is really good. It took me some getting used to, though. I got to admit, like when I read the first issue, I was like, I don't know if I like this artwork, because normally when you read an Army of Darkness comic, you're kind of expecting like more realistic art, I guess, and less cartoony and more gore, that kind of stuff. Especially if you ever read the original Dark Horse. I think Dark Horse put it. Yeah, Dark Horse did an adaptation of the evil Army of Darkness movie, and it was really beautiful painted artwork. And I forget, I think it might have been John Bolton, but don't quote me on that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that was the first time actually I saw that there was an alternate ending for Army of Darkness, because the comic adaptation had the alternate ending where Ash wakes up in the future, which I always thought, wow, that was a great ending. I wonder why they never put that in the movie. And when I was younger, I didn't realize that you could reshoot and do different endings, that kind of thing. But the painted artwork kind of set in my mind like the style of artwork that I feel like should be on Evil Dead. But as I was reading it, Justin Greenwood's got a really fun style. And then I was thinking about it more because Army of Darkness is more the fun movie of the franchise. I think it kind of fits, and as I'm going through, I've read about 4 issues of it so far, and I'm liking it more and more it goes. So, and he also did the artwork for Stumptown, I think, and then a few other books that I liked. So yeah, he's one of those artists that I liked, but I didn't put a name to the actual art, until I started reading this. So it's kind of nice to know that. Everything else is solid. Colors look good, the lettering good, all of that stuff. So would I recommend this? I would absolutely recommend this, especially if you are a fan of Army of Darkness, or if you're like me, that you kind of lapsed on it for a while and you've been kind of jonesing for Ash, especially since the show has been off now for a couple of years. Especially the premise of the story really lends itself to the movies. So if you're a fan of the movies, I think you'll really like this book. A couple other notes that I jotted down on this. I also recommend, if you can find it, the Army of Darkness adaptation of the movie from Dark Horse came out, probably around when the movie did back in the early 90s. And it was 3 issues, I believe, but beautiful artwork, beautiful covers. That one is a great one. And I kept that. I actually have it signed by Bruce Campbell, which is really cool. I met him at a convention years ago. I had him sign all 3 issues. So that's kind of a price book in my collection. I think Tony Fleecs is a great new creator too. He's becoming so when I read books from new creators that I like, and if I read more like 2 or 3 different things by them, they quickly become on my list of must pick up creators. And I'm happy to say Tony Fleecs hit that list. I can't wait to read Feral #1. And I think the biggest compliment I can pay Tony for this book in particular is that one of my pet peeves with some of the Army of Darkness books I've read in the past is that most writers, I find, cannot get Ash correct. Like they either go very too jokey with him, and he's a tough character to kind of balance and get right, because even though in the movies he's a little jokey, he doesn't overdo it. And I think that's the key to making Ash work, because he kind of lies within sort of serious, sort of jokey kind of character that he is. And if you can get that right, the book will work. But I find that most writers can't get that right. They go too jokey with them every 2 minutes with the groovy and all that crap that Ash says, all that stuff that, every writer seems to need to put in a book, and all the key moments, I guess, from the franchise. But Tony gets the tone right on Ash, and I think that's one of the keys on why this book works as well. So if you had stopped reading it because of that reason, I'd say give this one a look. It's probably going to come out in a trade paperback at some point, because it does look like it's like a mini of some sort. Usually these are, and Dynamite does more minis than they do ongoing stuff. So we'll see where that goes. I recommend it. So check it out. Check out Army of Darkness if you're an old fan. I think it's worth grabbing. And all right, everybody, that's it for this review. Like, subscribe, share this video if you know somebody that likes reviews or likes the Evil Dead franchise. And join us every other Monday night for our live streams. We got an exciting one coming up on a weird day this week on Thursday. We're going to be actually interviewing Mike Deodato. I guess he's got a new Kickstarter coming out, and I am totally excited. One of our biggest, we had Roy Thomas on the show before, but we haven't had many, big artists from Marvel and DC on the show. So Mike Deodato, it's going to be really cool, so check that out. That'll be this Thursday at our normal time, 9 p.m. That'll be fun. We'll go over his new campaign, but also do a little bit of an interview as a creator in the beginning. So, all right, everybody, have a great week. And most importantly, read some comics. All right, bye everyone.